If you have trouble on camera nailing every single word and you want a script, you want a prompter, then this video is for you. I'm going to go over the Elgato prompter, full setup, start to finish, and you're going to have the ability to read right from the screen. Now, I'm normally not a fan of reading from the screen. Normally, I want you to talk from the heart and talk from a position of authority and expertise and share your experience, and you don't need to be an actor, a character, just be you. But every once in a while, it's nice to have something where you can actually read word for word. So what I'm going to read here, just to show you the end result, I'm going to read the basic script that comes on Elgato's prompter. Now, there's no way I'd ever need to memorize this or even need to read it again. I'm only going to do this one time, but you'll see the difference between me speaking to you here versus me reading the prompter. So I'm going to shift cameras now to the prompter, and I'll be able to read right from the screen. Ready to roll the camera? Whether it's a video script or talking points, Camera Hub and Prompter give you full control over your delivery. Here in text mode, Prompter automatically mirrors anything you enter onto the screen. This way you can stay on script while maintaining natural eye contact with your audience. With this familiar interface, Camera Hub makes it easy to organize your text. Either paste text in or enter as you go, add emojis, bullet points, and even line breaks. Separating your content into readable chapters gives you a chance. Now, listen, I'm just adding to this now. I'm literally just, that was just me reading from the script. It goes on and it rolls with me and scrolls with me. I'll show you that whole setup. But what I want to do is show you now exactly how the equipment pieces together and the couple modifications I made to use this with the Insta360 Link camera. All right, so what I've done so far is I have a stand that clamps onto the edge of my desk. I'll put this in the description too. This is adjustable height, but I have it the same height as my monitors, maybe about 4 or 5 inches back. I have the cable for my Instalink that runs to my computer, and I also have the cable, the USB cable that comes with the prompter, ready to go to be plugged in. So I've ran both these cables to the computer, and now I'll show you on here. I've taken the prompter. I would highly recommend when you're putting this together that you wear gloves. You do not want to touch that screen, this mirror, in any way, shape, or form. Not from this side and not from the back. You don't want to touch it at all. I won't say you absolutely ruin it, but it won't perform anywhere near as good if it gets fingerprints and smudges on it. So what I've done is I've chosen, it came with it, the bracket that has the square and it has the cover. This cover keeps everything dark in there so the camera, when it gets looked at, can shine right through that mirror. That way there's no reflection from the inside, only the words, it'll see right through it. Now, it also comes, you want to see this, with this bracket here. And what this bracket will do is this will connect to the back, but your camera, your webcam, will go right here. So I'm going to take my Insta Link, and I'm going to position, this is where the cord goes, so that's the back. The back sits on this piece, and I'm just going to screw that in together. About like that. Just get it started. Now, I'm going to position it all the way forward, as far forward as it will go on here. And that'll give me the chance to then just tighten it up. Again, make sure the cord is pointing in the back. That's what I'll plug in here. Now, this piece will screw on to the device, just like this. But before I do that, I want to show you that I have one thing I want you to do that'll make your life a whole lot easier. When the Instalink lights up, and maybe you can see it on this one here, there's the green or blue, mostly green light that lights up right around here. And if that's on the inside being detected by or seen against the mirror, it makes the chroma key of the green screen very difficult. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small piece of electrical tape, maybe about that far, and I'm just going to break it right there. And I'm going to lightly, I'm going to fold it down about 1/3 of the way onto itself, about like that. So it leaves just a small tacky strip at the bottom. This is not sticky, the bottom is sticky, a little strip like this. And what I'm going to do is on the Instalink camera, I am going to put the sticky right up above, right below where it shines. Just like that. See that? And just wrap around. Does not need to cover the entire piece, just needs to cover what's showing forward. So back here is fine. It will not reflect off of the canvas, off the cover, but it will reflect from the front off the glass. So that little piece being careful not to put, there are buttons involved in here. You could push that. That's the actual button. You don't want to put pressure on that. Just around where it's going to light up. Now I can take the mount again. And if you look from the back, right here is where this connects. So I'm just going to connect that, find that piece, just get it started just like that. Now it is adjustable. And so the adjustment that I'm going to make is I do want the camera to ride as low as I can here. So once I get it connected, you just got to get it started just like that. Boom. That's not the easiest thing to line up, is it? Oh, there we go. Now I got it. Okay. And once you got it lined up, I want the camera to ride as low as it'll go. So I just have it down there. And you just tighten it up just like that. That was what I was tightening. Camera's in position. Now I'm good to go. So now I'm going to pull. There we go. We're good to go. So now the piece that I have to do now is now attach it to here. This is what I already preset. This was the post. So I'm just going to find, I got two choices. I got this one, I got this one. I'm going with this one so that it moves a little bit further forward. So I'm going to grab this and just carefully set it right on until you feel it click. And now I'm going to have to twist so that it gets on. I'm just going to twist now until it's solid. Then I can position it to be absolutely firm and tight when it faces me, right about there. Now, I'm going to turn it a little bit back so I can plug in two things. One, I want to plug in the InstaLink, just like that. And I want to also get plugged in the Elgato Stream Deck. So my camera's plugged into the computer, and now so is the screen. There's a little USB-C port right here. Make sure that's nice and tight. It is right there. I can pull the cover back over everything, just like this. Make sure it's tucked in all around. And then I can turn to tighten the last quarter, half turn or so, just like that. Now, again, even though I told you, be careful with the gloves and all that, if you do get something on the screen that comes with this, just make sure you're constantly looking for dust. You don't want any fingerprints on here whatsoever. I would wear gloves when doing this, but just give it a nice, good clean. You can clean both this side, the glass, the two-way glass, and the screen down here, because this will collect a lot of dust. Now, I'll show you here in the next step exactly how we're going to position this so it will read what's on the screen. I'll show you how to do the scripting and the software that goes along with it. So when you go to the Elgato download link, and I'll put this link in the description of this video, this is where you go to download all the software with your Elgato products. You've seen me do use trainings on Stream Deck. I use it I use it frequently. Everything that they have is pretty much on here. But see, it's interesting because you don't really find the prompter right away. It's actually in the camera hub. And if you notice, if I click over here, you'll have all the applications or all the equipment this is used for, and you will find, there it is. Prompter is one of those applications, one of those pieces of equipment that will be under this download. So you'll click download, you'll get the software, run the software, and install it, and I'll show you what it looks like. So once you download the Elgato Camera Hub, you're going to find it says Camera Effects. You want to go on the Prompter tab. And you'll see there's also a script here that is it's just a basic script, a welcome script. It just a default comes with it to test it and play with it and see how to adjust it. I'll show you how to bring scripts in a moment. But you notice on brightness, I have it all the way down. And you see above me, you can see what it actually looks like when I'm actually looking at it. I don't need it very bright. I can see that just fine so long as the brightness is down and the contrast is up. Now, with the brightness down, what I want by that is I don't want to put more screen in front of my InstaLink behind there as absolutely necessary. If I put too much light down there, it may start to auto-adjust and try to focus, and I want to skip all that completely. So now, I'll show you the next piece. I am currently under text. You can go on display, and this can be anything. You could bring any system you want up here, and that was OBS, but whatever you want to do, use it, you can use it for that. But I'm going to keep it on text. Now, you want to do I'll come back to scripts in a moment because it helps to see it first, and then the last thing we'll do is show how to add a new script. If I scroll down, you can change the fonts, any of the fonts. You can do the font size. As I go up on font size, you'll see it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter until pretty much it's just one word. I had it somewhere around, I just look at it, about there's about right. That's plenty for me to be able to read. Now, horizontal margin, I have set pretty high. If I dial that down, you see it, the wider it gets, the more shifty your eyes can get as you're reading back and forth. But by bringing the horizontal margin up, you see it tightens everything up just to the point where it's about 4 or 5 words wide. Right there is good ratio compared to the font size. Now the vertical margin, you can mess with that too. I leave that at the top, that's fine. Line space, you can make things space a little bit further out or a little bit tighter in. I don't mind them tight, so that's fine for me, about right there. Now the opacity, I don't really mess with. I'm not really looking to do much in opacity, but you can put a screen behind there, you can put an audience behind there, whatever you want is fine. I'm going to generally leave it at a full opacity level. Now, down here under scrolling, the default will be constant. This will be the default. And you'll see as you now have a constant scroll speed, when you hit play right here, it'll start to scroll. And you can make it scroll faster, depending on how fast you're reading, or you can make it go slower based on where you're at. But on the constant speed, you don't have a choice. It's just going to go. And it's just whether you're talking about that or not, I'll show you the value of voice sync in a moment. It's an incredible option that is now through beta and available, but you got to have a certain chip. I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, the reading position, you see where it goes white to gray? You can bring that down so that you're reading near the bottom of the teleprompter, or you can bring it up. I don't suggest you go all the way to the top. I leave a little bit, but to me, it's about 2/3 of the way up the screen for where I'm seeing the font change from what is read to what is being read. But I'll tell you what, if you can do this voice sync, you click on voice sync and now you just select a microphone. And what you're able to do, maybe before I show this, I should tell you the bad news. You either got to have the M1 chip on a Mac, or you got to have an NVIDIA card that's at least the 2060 or greater. I have a 2080 on this computer, so I can do it. If you don't, I'm sorry. Maybe something will come out as this goes. But as of now, to have the voice sync, you need to have those chips or above. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back to the beginning and reset it. And what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to switch to the spot where I'm reading. I'm just going to look up and read it. But you'll see what happens. Now that I have my microphone selected, I'm going to hit play. It's going to take just a second to go from getting ready to active. And once you see active, I can now start reading. And it's going to go by my voice. If I'm reading the script, it's going to scroll. Let me show you. Ready to roll the camera? Whether it's a video script or talking points, Camera Hub and Prompter give you full control over your delivery. Here in text mode, Prompter automatically mirrors anything you enter onto its screen. This way, you can stay on script while maintaining natural eye contact with your audience. With this familiar interface, so you can see if I stop now, I'm talking about something else. I'm not talking about what's on the script. And I can see where I left off. And I could go add an anecdote, go on a tangent if I need to. But what's going to happen now is if I pick it back up, and let's say I skip down a little bit. Let's say I'm not going to pick it up right on Camera Hub. I'm going to pick it up more towards, I'll pick up at add emojis, bullet points, and line breaks. Separate content into readable chapters. And once text is entered and formatting to make it easier to read. So anyway, I butchered that, but you see it actually showed me exactly, it just kept up. Now, if I go back and say, well, I want to refilm that, I just click on a chapter here. I can even go back all the way to the beginning and just refilm that chapter. Ready to roll with the camera? Whether it's video, script, or talking points, Camera Hub and Prompter give you full control over your delivery. So that's the benefit of voice sync. It works pretty well. And maybe got a little hiccup there, but the ability to stop, add something, come back, and then have it pick up where you are, that's incredible. Not having to worry about the exact speed. That works out really well for me too. Now, I don't really get into overlays. I don't really use them. In fact, I'm only really using this when I need to nail a 59-second or a 2-minute or a 5-minute video where every word is important. Because what's going to happen is if you're making content, long-form content, or sharing what you do with others, I'd rather you speak from the heart. I do not want you dependent on a prompter at all. I mean, at all. It's only when you have to nail it that I want you using the prompter. Because otherwise, at some point, people are going to eventually realize that you're reading. They're going to eventually pick up on it. And if you want that authentic communication, the one that actually does the transformation, passing on and showing people that you're opening your heart, you're speaking from the heart, you're opening up what you do, you're sharing your life's work with them, and eventually getting a transformation for them, you need to speak from the heart and not from a script. But the last thing I'll show you on here, if I scroll back up 2 scripts, if you want to add one, which you don't want to read their basic one, this was just the generic one that comes with the download, you'll hit the plus sign, you'll give it a name, I'll just type in test right here, and I'll hit add, and you can now start typing out your chapters. type out your script. You'll be right there. You copy paste whatever you want to do. You want to add a chapter, break a pause. You can just keep adding chapters all the way through. And this is what will show up on the screen. When you're done, you want to go back to it. Go save your scripts, whatever you want to do. You could bullet point it out. You'd be all set. So again, if you're looking for content like this or even more content to make your studio perform the way you want, send me a note. If there's anything you want me to review or haven't seen me review yet, I'll see if I can get it added on to the channel. Take care.